Obviously, there's a huge business impact here, and we'll get to that. But let's also start with the human toll. Horizon is working on treatments for rare diseases. Would those treatments get developed more quickly and easily if Amgen took over or not? Let's ask Michael Yee. He's managing director with Jefferies. Michael, what's the implication here for the drug pipelines?
Hey, good to see you. I think there's two important implications. First is that the acquisition of Horizon is supposed to benefit this drug because of the large infrastructure that Amgen employs both here in the U.S. and globally, where Horizon was not expected to be able to have the capabilities to market this drug outside of the United States. And secondly, with the resources and R&D capabilities of Amgen and the huge pipeline to be able to further develop that drug and other drugs at Horizon.
So that being said, if there were a case to be made that this would benefit patients to move forward, why do you think it would be? On what basis could it be blocked?
Well, I think we are very clear with both notes out today that this transaction should go through and will go through, and that the FTC behind Lina Khan is making the efforts very aggressively to deter at any cost biopharma acquisitions. This is a platform that they ran on, that the case which is laid out, we believe, and Amgen has a release out, has to do with bundling and all sorts of past behavior. And somehow tying that to future behavior of which Horizon and Amgen have agreed not to bundle and not to do anything that will harm the consumer. So we believe that this transaction will go through. However, the FTC is just being very aggressive about it.
They're being very aggressive, and I assume you think this is going to chill the M&A market in biopharma.
We do in the short term. I think you bring up a good point. You see the XBI down today a little bit. But importantly, we believe that this it would slow and make people consider whether or not they would go ahead with larger transactions. You'll note that this deal is about a $30 billion deal, the Pfizer Seagen about $43 billion. However, think about this, Tyler. These companies still need to fill pipelines. There's still IRA risk in the future from any of these big companies. So small and mid-cap companies or drugs that are not yet on the market would still be a positive beneficiary and still make a lot of sense for these big pharmas to acquire. So we're still on the page that there are still going to be M&A, that this deal will go through, and that this is not going to have a longer-term effect.
Well, Michael Yee, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Talking about the toll there, if we could call it. What about the business impact, Peter? I guess to put it more broadly as well, this is hardly just about healthcare and pharma. We are seeing an administration that almost feels like they don't want any deal making to happen. What will the ramifications be?
Right. Originally, the FTC would block a horizontal merger because they don't want you to get too big. Now they're blocking vertically integrated mergers and mergers of a company buying a business where they're not even in that business yet on fears that that company would dominate that new business. So if I'm the CEO thinking, okay, I'm going to make an announcement, I got to go through months, maybe years of the regulatory process, and then have Lina Khan just strike it down, I'm just not going to bother. And it's going to freeze any type of M&A.
Do you think deal making has
been suspect?
I don't mean to interrupt, but is there a case in which deal making or combinations have been bad for markets, bad for the economy? Is there a case to be made that all of these combinations just result in 5 big tech companies and are bad for business or bad for everybody?
We've learned that the economy is so dynamic, technology changes so fast, that to think that somebody can dominate a particular area for that long, I just think is not realistic. And technology is the perfect example. The government went after Microsoft when they had an 85% market share, thinking they're the dominant player, and we know what happened since. So I think that there's a tremendous amount of overreach here that is just freezing behavior, and it's that the FTC just wants us all to stay in our individual silos forever, and there'll be no change, and we're all going to be stuck in this, and not believing in some sort of progress or technological innovation that creates its own competitors constantly.
Yeah.